tonight. From US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis.
Ladies and gentlemen, destiny will always arrive.
Talk, get hit.
Hell in a cell. We finish this. No more games.
SummerSlam.
There is one thing. There is one thing that you have not been able to do.
Then, now, together.
Welcome to a magnificent summer afternoon here in Minneapolis. We will be spending the day at US Bank Stadium, where for the 39th time in history, SummerSlam has arrived. And now, Cricket 5G presents Countdown to SummerSlam. And this one comes with more. 2 days of more championships, more intriguing matchups, and more dynamic layered drama. And for most of this year, the world has marveled at that man, the physical presence and ascent of the current King of the Ring, Oba Femi. He arrives here in Minnesota with the greatest challenge of his life, facing Brock Lesnar 2 times already, but now inside Hell in a Cell. And listen to the crowd react to the arrival of CM Punk. The anxious waiting game, not even 1 full month into his reign as undisputed champion, and it's Cody Rhodes he has to fend off. Meanwhile, Liv Morgan, she has to try to solve Io Sky. The last time they met was in Saudi Arabia. Io defeated her for Queen of the Ring. Liv with time to think and adjust the game plan, and now take that world championship and put it on the line. And you hear the tidal wave of boos for Gunther. Last night he was brawling on SmackDown. Tonight he's out to finish the issues with Nick Aldis. You know that bus, and you know that man. The American Nightmare is here at US Bank Stadium. Cody Rhodes has arrived. This is SummerSlam.
The epic 2-night SummerSlam begins.
Let's take it back to what we love it at.
Everybody sees the swagger, the success,
Yeah.
the charisma. Can't teach that part. But what they don't see is the focus it takes to get here. Every rep, every sacrifice.
How do you think they get the physiques that they do? Training hard like absolute animals. They're putting in the work.
That's how you earn the right to walk through this tunnel. And that's how every WWE superstar earned theirs.
Doesn't matter if your tunnel leads to a field or a ring. Pressure's on the other side, bet.
Hell in a Cell? Man, that's just different.
2 gladiators locked inside of the most sadistic structure ever devised.
These are the moments you want.
I don't want to beat you. I need to beat you.
The moments you work for.
I went from the one who knocks to the one they knock for.
Box office perfection.
The moments everybody remembers.
The
excitement is here. The pandemonium is here. The electricity is in the air.
This is where stars become highlights.
I am going to destroy you.
We are in for a showdown in Minnesota.
Eyes up. Skull.
King of the city, let's build a monument.
Welcome, everybody, to SummerSlam.
In my house.
I mean, how good is that by Justin Jefferson? The man who dominates that stadium during the fall and is psyched up here in the midst of the heat of August as we welcome you to US Bank Stadium, home to the Final Four, the Super Bowl, but it's never seen anything like that. Hell in a Cell hangs high above 10,000 pounds of steel. And these fans, I mean, will you look at this crowd here on the countdown to SummerSlam presented by Cricket 5G. Thrilled you're with us. Joe Tessitore alongside the former WWE champ Big E, the great Corey Graves, and Peter Rosenberg. You talk about great. How about this crowd here? Woo! Everybody is excited. Remember, it is streaming on the ESPN app for the next 3 hours. We will be with you right here on ESPN to get you set for what is an epic 2 days. Great news throughout, including the fact that we've got a loaded Saturday card.
Look, bust out that Richter scale if you got it, because that tremor you feel in Minnesota under your feet, that'll be when Brock collides with Femi.
That is the full slate for Saturday. Of course, the undisputed WWE Championship on the line. And then Corey and Peter, how about this Sunday?
Sunday's shaping up to be just as stacked as today. You got the World Heavyweight Championship on the line. The OTC, Roman Reigns defending against the man who never lost the gold, Seth freaking Rollins.
And don't you forget about the face of ESPN, Danhausen. Money's on the pole there, Corey Graves.
It is something. All right, let's get right to it. Everybody, you can go in a lot of different directions here. But when it comes to you, Big E, what has you most excited?
Come on, since day one, I have watched Obafemi in NXT, watching this man's rise, seeing him get to this stage against Brock Lesnar, and it's going to be at Hell in a Cell. It's going to be all confined in that cell. I cannot wait for this match.
This showdown is the definition of epic. Two of the biggest gladiators, two of the biggest bulls in the yard doing battle inside of Hell in a Cell. I caught up with Oba as soon as I arrived at the stadium today. I simply said, Oba, how are you feeling? He looked me dead in the eyes and said, I am excited. The fact that Obafemi is excited to compete against Brock Lesnar means Obafemi's out of his mind, and we are in for a treat.
What direction you going in here? What has you most excited?
I gotta tell you, I can't believe we're finally seeing the GM, Nick Aldis, take off the suit and get back in the ring. He has wanted this for so long. It's been teased a couple of times. Finally, we get it. A decorated champion once. Now the GM, Nick Aldis, and Gunther.
You know he relinquished his GM duties. He's not going to get you a job on SmackDown.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Well, then why not even bring it up?
We have full team coverage coming your way right here. There's so much news and analysis and reports to get, so to show you who's with us here, all of our reporters surrounding US Bank Stadium. We begin with Kathy Kelly.
Yeah, Joe, I'm actually most excited for the undisputed WWE Championship match coming up. For weeks now, Cody Rhodes and the defending champion CM Punk have been adamant that this would not test their relationship in the way that it has. But we've just seen so many compatibility issues, if you will, over the last several weeks, whether they are intentional or accidental. Now, Cody Rhodes says that they are personal. CM Punk begs to differ, saying that none of this has been personal. So the question is whether they will survive, or their friendship will survive this test, and who will walk out of Minnesota as the undisputed champion.
But when it comes to the Women's World Championship match between Liv Morgan and Io Sky, you could actually rebrand it as Revenge versus Hope. Revenge for Liv Morgan, who has been obsessed with proving to the world that her loss to Io Sky at Night of Champions was a fluke. But for Io Sky, and she actually mentioned this on social media yesterday, she is driven by the overwhelming support of her fans. So much so that Io Sky not only wants to win that championship for herself, she wants to win that championship to provide hope for those fans who never gave up hope in the genius of the Sky. For now, we send things over to Jackie Redmond, who's talking Hell in a Cell.
Byron, thank you so much. Well, after winning King of the Ring, Obafemi could have went straight for championship gold. Instead, he chose Brock Lesnar, and that's what makes this rivalry so fascinating, right? I mean, Oba didn't need this match right now. He chose it. Oba is moving like somebody who knows that title opportunities for him, they're not going anywhere. But the chance to define his own legacy against the likes of Brock Lesnar inside Hell in a Cell of all places, oh, well, that is different. It tells us that Obafemi isn't chasing championships, he's chasing significance. Because while championships, they do build resumes, Tess, it's moments like tonight that build legacy.
Yeah, Jackie, so true, and that significance comes in the form of steel and mesh chain link, and it's reinforced with framing that includes the entire ringside floor. By the way, did you hear that Brock Lesnar weighed in at 303 pounds?
Over 600 pounds of humanity locked inside of Hell in a Cell tonight.
What are the odds?
Just an extra pound more. Just a pound more.
Listen, if you missed it the other night, they had a weigh-in on Monday night that Brock refused to weigh in, and then Paul Heyman just said, when he heard that Oba was 302, he said, by the way, Brock was 303. We weighed him backstage. So, listen, there's some veteran mental gamesmanship a little bit here, but when you get into the strategy of Hell in a Cell, considering the veteran combat skills of Brock Lesnar, the young ascendant power of Obafemi, where does your mind go?
I keep wondering with Obafemi, when does the stage get too big? When are the lights too bright? I've yet to see it. I've yet to see this man back down, and I don't think we'll see that here today. But if it can happen anywhere, SummerSlam in Brock's hometown, in his home state, the stakes don't get bigger for Obafemi. This is the biggest match of his career. I don't think he's going to be one to wilt.
I think coming off of WrestleMania, Oba was riding the wave of momentum. The WWE fans all decided we believe in Obafemi. But then what happened the second encounter has to still be fresh in Oba's mind. Oba has never been physically dominated the way Brock Lesnar did at Clash in Italy. 7 F5s it took to put the ruler down. But Oba had to experience something he's never, ever experienced before. He's got an opportunity to right that wrong tonight, or Brock can be who he says he is.
But my takeaway from those 7 F5s isn't he got dominated. It's that's what it took to put Obafemi away.
It's a great point, E. And I sat there at WrestleMania, and we talked about this. I really thought that was the end for Brock Lesnar. I did not think there was gas left in the tank. You got the sense he took off the boots, walking out arm in arm with Paul Heyman. You thought it was over. Something brought him back that night to attack Obafemi on Monday Night Raw. And I really think he sees the significance of Obafemi, and I wouldn't be surprised if the last thing Brock Lesnar truly wants to do in this business is remind people exactly who he is by beating Oba.
I agree with Corey's conversation in terms of the 7 F5s being the decisive piece of analysis here, because there were moments there where he escaped the Kimura lock, he battled back, he went through the announce test and still was getting up and asking for more. Which way does it go coming off of what we saw in Clash of Italy? For more, here's Jackie.
Well, Tess, to most people, Brock Lesnar seems larger than life, right? Like he was destined to dominate the second that he stepped into a WWE ring. But every legend, of course, has an origin story, right? Every champion has a first chapter. And long before Brock Lesnar became the Beast incarnate, he was just a kid chasing greatness right here in Minnesota. And as Paul Heyman reminds us, even a beast has a beginning.
Everyone starts somewhere. Even the beast. Brock Lesnar, the man, was born in Webster, South Dakota, humbly raised by his parents on their dairy farm, where he learned at an early age the merits of hard work, competitive nature, raw physicality, and that victory just doesn't come easy.
You gotta learn to lose before you learn to win. And Brock lost his share of matches. Then he caught on, and once Brock gets confidence in doing something, he's unbeatable.
So yes, Brock Lesnar, the man, was born in Webster, South Dakota. But Brock Lesnar, the Beast, was born at the University of Minnesota, a one-man wrecking crew, and the 2000 NCAA Division I Heavyweight Wrestling Champion.
It was a dream come true.
Brock Lesnar would arrive into WWE in 2002 as the next big thing, and just 5 months later lay waste to The Rock to become the youngest undisputed WWE champion in history. And from there, the Beast just continued to conquer. No man could withstand Brock Lesnar between those 4 ropes. Hell, no man could withstand Brock Lesnar in the octagon either.
Brock Lesnar, UFC Heavyweight Champion.
He's taken John Cena to Suplex City, pounded Randy Orton into oblivion, and conquered The Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania. So while it's true that everyone starts somewhere, not everyone reaches the pinnacle of their profession, and nothing is going to knock the Beast from his rightful place atop this industry. Not Hell in a Cell, and certainly not Oba Femi.
As only Paul Heyman can. He mentions the origin story of really becoming the Beast starting right nearby at the University of Minnesota. This is one of the great resumes you will see in the history of college athletics. Look at this mark by Brock Lesnar, and of course it launched what many say, when you look at the totality of it, from NCAA wrestling to WWE to UFC heavyweight champion, generationally, overall, in totality, the greatest combat sport athlete generationally.
Well, you know what I'm going to say? I think he's the rare case where generational talent doesn't do it justice. Because I don't think there'll be another Brock Lesnar in the next generation. I truthfully don't think we will ever see a Brock Lesnar again, in wrestling or otherwise.
I can't say that we'll never see another Brock Lesnar, but I think if you're Oba Femi, the problem is this. You can't be the next big thing when the OG big thing is still stalking the earth, dominating the way Brock Lesnar is. This is a massive opportunity for Oba Femi to solidify himself in the pantheon of WWE greats amongst the WWE fans. But Brock Lesnar's not going down without a fight. No. Brock Lesnar lost at WrestleMania in almost a panic. A fighter in that mentality is going, I just got beaten like I've never been beaten before. It's time to hang it up. It's the world has moved on without me. Brock took a few weeks, recalibrated himself, dominated in Italy. This truly is a rubber match in every sense. It's almost too close to call.
Look, I first saw this man's name in Sports Illustrated when I was in 8th grade. I was in middle school when he won his championship at the University of Minnesota. To see him go from that and continue to have so much longevity, to be in the ring. Look, I lost my WWE championship to Brock Lesnar. I have never been in the ring with someone with his blend of strength, speed, and power, and I've not seen any kind of drop off, any fall off in his abilities, even with his age. He's a guy who I think still has a lot of gas left in the tank, and Oba Femi is going to have to deal with a man who I think is still somehow in his athletic prime.
And what does it feel like, E? What does it feel like? How does it feel different?
I remember being 300 plus pounds first time I stepped foot in the ring with him. I've never been picked up with that much ease. I've never seen a man move that quickly with that size and that power. He's a one of one.
I felt like Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant.
You experienced it like this.
That was recently.
Yes.
You experienced it in this version of your career.
Absolutely.
In a suit.
Horrifying.
The only thing I have not believed about Brock Lesnar from recent is when he says, I don't watch. Mr. Heyman tells me. He sees everything Oba is doing, and that's why he's back one more time.
Much more to come here on the countdown to SummerSlam. Massive crowd just outside US Bank Stadium. They are roaring. Remember, it's 6 p.m. Eastern on the ESPN app. And great news that YouTube subscribers can go all in and watch this premium live event. Cody Rhodes sits down for a long conversation prior to his championship attempt. That is coming up. Plus,
there's a whole roster here of incredible talent, the best roster WWE has ever assembled, and I don't sweat a single one of them, except for CM Punk.
CM Punk is getting ready. This is access we have of what is happening backstage at US Bank Stadium as Punk is running the ropes, getting in his last conditioning and practice and mental fitness to retain the undisputed WWE Championship. Through the years, so many great memories of SummerSlam.
Obviously the visionary, a young visionary in 2015, and of course, the custody of Dominic Mysterio on the line at SummerSlam.
How differently life for Dirty Dom could have turned out.
Oh man, you can't forget Batista. So many star-making moments, especially at SummerSlam, an absolute star.
Reminder, we will speak live with CM Punk joining us live on the Countdown next.
The wait is over, and Club WWE is live now. Start earning rewards, check out your exclusive member benefits, and explore the catalog of premium content you can't find anywhere else. Congratulations on being the first to experience the epicenter of fandom. This is Club WWE.
We are closing in at SummerSlam at US Bank Stadium. Of course, Super Bowl 52 was there. It's where Nick Foles and the Eagles upset Tom Brady and the Patriots. Will we have major upsets over the course of the next couple days? The big one is today, the undisputed WWE Championship, CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. It has been a wild path arriving here. Of course, Sami Zayn had the Undisputed Championship for 9 days. That was up until Cody was attacked by Gunther. It opened the door for CM Punk in Chicago.
Justice for Sami. It was a tough break from that night, but guess what? CM Punk does what he does and took advantage, Chris.
The best in the world living up to his namesake. Punk promised to be a fighting champion. There you see a little incidental contact after the match. And since that moment, it seems as though things between the CM Punk and Cody Rhodes have continued to escalate.
Yeah, a lot of these air quote accidental moments. And then last night on SmackDown, there were no accidents. There were just punches thrown all over our announce desk. Cody Rhodes caught up with Kathy Kelly.
Now let's talk Saturday night's main event. You and Punk, as you put it, were able to coexist and get the win. But then there was a moment after the match where Punk threw the title over his shoulder, accidentally hit you in the head, and the tension just boiled over. Can you talk me through what happened from your perspective?
So you thought it was an accident? It was an accident. And I feel incredibly misdiagnosed, as I told Punk already. Not paranoid. He's talking about Kevin Owens. He's talking about Randy Orton, John Cena, the things that happened to me. We're already there. It's like I have been saying, is there's a whole roster here of incredible talent, the best roster WWE has ever assembled, and I don't sweat a single one of them, except for CM Punk.
Last night was an accident, and I apologize. This is on purpose.
What do you feel about him in this very moment?
I was told you're not going to make many friends in pro wrestling. You're going to make a lot of acquaintances. And maybe I've rejected that thought, and I have found a few along the way. But the path that this is on with CM Punk is unlike what happened with Kevin, unlike what happened with Randy and John. Look at the CM Punk that showed up at WrestleMania. That's the best CM Punk has ever been. And that's just competition. That's what this is. It's just competition. We're not going to do the respect, the love, the shake hands, the stuff that annoys the hell out of people. We're just saying I'm better than you, and he's saying he's better than me. And at SummerSlam, we find out.
You said that Punk has referred to you as paranoid because of past friendships turning on you. It sounded like, and correct me if I'm wrong, you alluding to him being jealous of your trajectory since leaving WWE and then returning.
I don't know if I'd use the word jealous, because whenever you're the man who has the WWE title, what could you be jealous of? The world is yours in his case. It's competition. It's competition. You know, it's two guys at the top of their game. And yeah, there have been some live rounds thrown along the way, but it's two guys at the top of their game finding out who's better, not just amongst each other, but who's better for WWE.
This is the first time that we're going to see you guys go one-on-one at a PLE. Do you think that this changes the dynamic of your relationship moving forward?
Anytime you go into the squared circle and you punch somebody as hard as you can in the face, and vice versa, they do the same, it has to change the dynamic of your friendship or your experience or your equity, your relationship. My guess would be at SummerSlam, he won't think that anymore. But I hope he knows that nothing has changed. Nothing has changed other than we found out who was better at the thing we like to do, which is pro wrestling.
Cody Rhodes with our Kathy Kelly, and right now we are thrilled to be joined live by the undisputed WWE champ, CM Punk. Punk, it's hard to listen to "Nothing Has Changed" when last night I'm watching you brawl right on top of the announce desk, feet away from me. What is your mindset entering this championship match with Cody?
My mindset is the day is here, so everything that has happened in the past does not matter and the future does not exist. I live for the present, I live for the moment. Mentally, physically, and spiritually, I'm the best I've ever been. You heard Cody say it. Best in the world at the end of the night is getting his hand raised.
Punk, there's been a lot of talk about the friendship and the history you guys have. I'm not doubting that. I just also know how much winning means to both of you. Is this friendship with Cody meaningful enough to you that it could actually in any way affect your mindset going into a match like tonight?
I definitely think it would be hard to say that it hasn't affected my mindset and his mindset, but I'm a game day guy. Yesterday I might have had some feelings about it. Maybe tomorrow you can ask me and my perspective will change, but tonight is all business. And when that bell rings, whether it's Cody or John Cena or The Undertaker or The Rock or Eddie Guerrero or any of the number of legends that I have stepped in the ring to face, they're just another man, and I'm there to beat them.
To that point, Punk, at WrestleMania, you experienced the agony of entering one of WWE's landmark events and leaving empty-handed without your World Heavyweight Championship. Why is tonight at SummerSlam different? Notwithstanding the relationship between yourself and Cody Rhodes, what is CM Punk willing to do differently to make sure that doesn't happen again tonight?
Well, I think one of the biggest differences is today is actually the 20th anniversary of my debut in WWE, and that carries some weight. That means a lot to me. I never thought that I would make it, 20 years later and be here on top of the mountain as champion, as having the chip that everybody wants. But this is the champion's job. The difference between WrestleMania and SummerSlam is a couple 10 degrees. It was a little colder in April. Today it's a little warmer. We're 6 months removed from it. And, to me, this is WrestleMania. Every time I step in the ring, it's WrestleMania.
So are you telling us you are willing to do whatever it takes to leave Minnesota with the WWE Championship?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would be a liar or hypocrite if I said otherwise. Like, I'm ruthless when that bell rings, and if I have to be ruthless against a friend or foe, it doesn't matter to me.
Punk, you've been very vocal about giving other wrestlers on the SmackDown roster opportunities with the WWE Championship. Is there any concern that you might be overlooking Cody en route to?
No, I definitely don't think so. Like I said, I'm living in the present. I have a hard out today in Cody. So a lot of the seeds that I've planted for, future contenders, they might wind up being Cody's, but that doesn't change the fact that they should be in a title picture. Everybody back here should want to be champion. And the champion should welcome all challengers and not try to live in a bubble. I want everybody to want what I have. That breeds better competition. It breeds a better, healthier locker room. It's cutthroat. So I'm not trying to limit anybody else's opportunities. I want them to step up to the plate. Cody's first. We'll talk about who's next tomorrow.
Punk, everybody should want, but you're the one who did what it takes for the last 20 years. Happy anniversary. Thank you for being with us. Best of luck tonight, the undisputed WWE champion, CM Punk.
I said it 20 years ago, Tess. Luck's for losers, but I appreciate the sentiment. Thank you.
Thanks, Punk.
That is CM Punk, and tonight he will look to retain against Cody Rhodes as we will continue on here on the countdown to SummerSlam. The biggest party of the summer continues from right here in US Bank Stadium. Punk and Cody set to go tonight. There it is, the undisputed championship matchup. It was back on July 6th when CM Punk captured the championship, defeating Sami Zayn. And Cody Rhodes said, hey, a reminder, I always said just say when. Punk answered with one word, when. US Bank Stadium, it is coming your way, streaming on the ESPN app, and that is coming your way. Hell in a Cell. It speaks to the competitors, and they know very well what it's capable of. And Tiffany Stratton is back home. She's there at SummerSlam TakeOver with all her fans. We'll get you set for the ladder match as well.
You're the American war hero.
Boom.
I've been tasked with finding the greatest fighters on Earth.
Are you ready for street fighting?
Where is my true opponent? Street Fighter, only theaters October 16, rated PG-13.
enough to beat me. You think this man's gonna beat me?
I'll come over there and smack them glasses straight off your face.
You lost your mind.
This for the welterweight championship for the world.
There's not gonna be a 12-round war, I promise you that. He's not good enough.
He can say whatever he wants. I don't quit. I don't stay down on one knee. Proven.
Easy work. Easy work.
The sport really can't produce a bigger build of heated promotion than Ryan Garcia, Conor Benn. But that's just part of what's going to be an absolutely outrageous weekend in Vegas, September 11, 12, and continuing on with what Triple A is doing, because Triple Mania with multiple nights is at the MGM Grand Garden Arena because of demand. They had to move it to the MGM Grand Garden Arena, and it's the night before Garcia Ben, Corey.
An absolutely iconic weekend awaits in the world of sports entertainment. Friday night, you've got SmackDown in Mexico City. You've also got Triple Mania Night 1 in Las Vegas, MGM Grand Garden. Saturday night, you've got the fight we just saw. Sunday night, night 2 of Triple Mania. It's akin to Triple A's version of WrestleMania, the biggest event of the year. And the fact that we are releasing more tickets and upgrading the venue just speaks to the passion of the fan base of Triple A. This well-kept secret south of the border in Mexico has now turned into a global phenomenon. And if you haven't had the opportunity to get eyes on it, each and every Saturday night, right on WWE's official YouTube channel, you can catch Triple A, including tonight, 10 p.m. in the East, 9 Central. Big E, we were talking before we came on the air today about the magic that is Triple A right now. Having lived through the original iteration of NXT, when NXT first started setting the world on fire, I'm talking NXT Brooklyn, when we sold out Barclays for the first time, in the era of Finn Balor, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, the Four Horsewomen. It's that same sort of passion. It's something special, something organic, something magical, something awesome is happening in AAA right now.
It absolutely reminds me of that time. But man, seeing the variety articles, seeing the fervor for this. Look, that mask versus mask match, I was moved. I was truly moved, and I love what's going on in AAA. Feels so organic and distinct. Like, if you have not given this product a chance, please tune in. It is an absolute blast to watch.
If you don't know where to go after El Grande Americano wins the biggest match ever, now you followed up with him and Dominic, epic.
By the way, I'm laughing here of conflating all promotions, as Ryan Garcia was with Dominic the other night, putting a beatdown in the ring on Monday Night Raw. Hey, the Superstar Lookalike Contest is presented by Chase Freedom.
I love this.
I know you do. It's the official credit card of SummerSlam, Chase Freedom. So let's get to Kathy and Chewy.
Yeah, guys, we are here with the lookalike contest. I didn't know that it was Superstar, so I dressed as a colonial man. But
you look
Chewy,
great. You look great.
Chewy, I figured you could introduce this. Who we got?
Yo, we got Bianca Belair, we got CM Punk, AJ Lee, El Gran Dominicano, and John Cena. The people of Minneapolis have shown up and shown out, Kathy.
Yeah, and the winner of this contest gets 2 floor tickets to SummerSlam today. So we're gonna hit the music. We're gonna see either your best Oba strut or your best interpretation of the superstar you're dressed as,
That's right.
okay? You ready? Oh, I love it.
There you go. Everybody. Grande Americano, I see you, bro.
I was hoping we'd get a German suplex from him, you know? Okay, so who do we think is the winner? We got
I'm thinking Bianca Belair. I'm thinking Bianca Belair.
You took it home.
Congratulations.
You're gonna sit on the floor of SummerSlam, so you'll be up close with all of the superstars tonight.
Yes, I'm excited!
Well, congratulations. We have another lookalike contest tomorrow, so if you didn't get to participate today, make sure you come on out. Chewy, take it away.
Yeah, Kathy, I'm going to try this on
Oh,
tomorrow.
okay, yeah. Well, you can dress as me tomorrow.
Please don't, Chewy. Floor seats for winning the lookalike. That means you're there to see the Women's World Championship. Liv Morgan and Io Sky. It was at Night of Champions when Io Sky defeated Liv Morgan in Queen of the Ring, the finals there. And now here they are at SummerSlam in Minneapolis, coming your way in just a few hours.
Liv, ever since Night of Champions, I've been in your head. あんたは私を倒してあの王冠をかぶれると思ってたでしょ。でも結局クイーン・オブ・ザ・リングはこの私。あの夜私はあんたの思い上がりを証明してみせた。あんた自身はそれほど強くないってことをね。そして重要なのは You are not the greatest champion of all time。 私は偉大なチャンピオンやリーダーや師匠をロッカールームで見てきた。あんたはその誰の足元にも及ばない。あんた傲慢すぎるんだよ。その傲慢さでいつか滅びるんじゃないの。あとあんたいつもベラベラベラベラよく喋るけどね。あんたそれ負けるのが怖いんじゃないの。だからリブ、私はまたあんたの思い上がりを証明してやるよ。サマースラムそのタイトルかけてまたあんたに会えるの楽しみにしてる。 Because I defeated you once and I'm gonna do it all over again to become the new women's world champion.
You know, a lot has been made about the head-to-head battle because Liv had the best of Io Sky, and then June 27th happened. And Big E, usually the champion has the mental edge, right? You go into a championship match as the champion, as the one with all the victories and the defenses. But this is different because of what we had. We had a tournament. We had Queen of the Ring, and it was Io who most recently defeated Liv and then just turned right around and chose her for the rematch with now the championship on the line.
Right, you mentioned champions usually have all these defenses. Unfortunately, we don't spend too much time talking about numbers. When we're talking about Liv Morgan, first 100 days holding this title, unfortunately, 0 title defenses. This is not iron being sharpened, with opponent and challenger after challenger. This is a woman who is so talented, who's been at the top of her game, but those skills have not been tested. Whether that's her fault or not, she has not been someone who has had challenger after challenger line up. So you wonder, is she going to be ready for this moment against someone? We've talked about Io Sky the last several years being, male or female, the best wrestler in this company.
It is so easy to look past Liv Morgan as the greatest women's world champion of all time because she hasn't been actively defending it. But what did Liv do in the meantime? She voluntarily entered the Queen of the Ring tournament. Why? Because she said, I'm so good, I'm so confident as women's world champion, I'm gonna win the other brand's championship as well. And she almost did. Io Sky was a step ahead that night in Saudi Arabia, sure. But I think if Io is riding this wave of confidence, I think her bubble's about to be burst tonight in Minnesota.
I think Graves makes a really great point, E, because there's been a lot of talk about no title defenses, but you're removing the fact that the title wasn't on the line in those Queen of the Ring matches. So it's not like she's had 0 matches. On the other side, though, how confident is Io Sky that she beats her to win Queen of the Ring and immediately turns around and says, run this back?
Sure, but also, what's the confidence feeling like in the Judgment Day clubhouse right now, having Raquel Rodriguez, the brand new women's intercontinental champion as of this Monday night?
Okay, Triple A Graves.
Yeah, you know.
Nice rolling R there.
I'm just saying, I think
that was
Liv's
an impressive win. The broken nose the other night, getting it done. So
it's contagious. It's the locker room mentality.
For Rodriguez, it is. Hey, we want to remind you that WWE Slam celebrates this, the biggest party of the summer, with an action-packed release inspired by the larger-in-life moments and superstars who have defined SummerSlam over the years. You can collect signature cards and more, experience the excitement of SummerSlam in Topps WWE Slam. Jackie.
Well, Tess, Brock Lesnar, not the only superstar competing this weekend with ties to Minnesota. Tiffany Stratton, who grew up about 30 minutes from here, will compete tomorrow in the women's ladder match to determine the interim women's champion. And she's doing it on the same day she celebrates 100 days as United States champion. It is a full circle moment for a superstar who has a chance tomorrow to walk out of her hometown as a double champ.
I feel like you don't hear a lot of people being like, I'm from Minnesota.
From Briar Lake, Minnesota, Tiffany Stratton.
Back to goal for Tiffany Stratton.
I was born and raised in Prior Lake, Minnesota. It was 25 minutes south of Minneapolis. And then one day I fell in love with gymnastics, and that was kind of my first true love in this world. My mother saw Charlotte Flair on the screen, and she immediately was like, you can totally do that. You literally do everything she's doing every single day, and the rest is history. It's Tiffy time! Former NXT Women's Champion, former Money in the Bank, former WWE Women's Champion, and here I am, your United States Champion.
Everybody's talking about Brock Lesnar in Minnesota. Somebody start talking about Tiffy in Minnesota. She's a hometown hero as well. Already.
There it is.
Ironic.
The champ is here.
My first match in Minnesota was actually a tournament for the U.S. title. Keep that in mind, for the U.S. title. In Minnesota, it was just electrifying.
It is indeed Tiffy time in front of her hometown crowd.
I actually got some special gear made. A white base with purple and gold colors for the Vikings. And it was so cute. Full circle moment, walking in with the U.S. Championship, getting the opportunity, the WWE Women's Championship, and to have that in Minnesota. It's like a perfect moment for me. And we're gonna get Tiffy 2 titles on a t-shirt.
Tiffy 2 titles sounds pretty good, and I am excited to welcome your United States Champion onto the Countdown Show live from SummerSlam TakeOver. Tiffany Stratton, you are home. You are in a huge ladder match tomorrow. I assume you've probably got a ton of family and friends coming. How are you feeling going into this PLE?
Tiffy time. Oh my goodness, I'm feeling so happy, so excited. This feels like it's my WrestleMania. So I grew up 20 minutes down the road from here. And I watched SmackDown for the first time, and I immediately decided I wanted to be a WWE superstar. So this feels like a full circle moment. I'm so excited to get out there tomorrow.
The crowd here chanting Tiffy time like their life depends on it. You've already accomplished so much, but when you walk out on that ramp tomorrow, how do you think it'll be different for you? Do you expect yourself to be emotional? I mean, how are you preparing for the magnitude of this? I mean, this is an emotional weekend for you.
Hi, guys. Yes, I'm not typically an emotional person, but are we taking pictures? But I feel like when I walk down that ramp, I am going to be a little bit emotional. I have all my friends and family coming. There's going to be a suite. A bunch of my family has never even seen wrestling before, so I'm so excited to kind of see what their perspective is.
Well, and you know this too. I mean, there's nothing like live wrestling, right? Like you can watch it on TV, but until you have seen WWE live and in color, it is a completely different beast. But let's talk about this ladder match. You've got some stiff competition. You've competed in ladder matches before. What is the key to success in something like a ladder match, and how are you preparing for that?
Oh my goodness, so, sorry, 1 second.
No, listen, fans come first, my girl.
They want the Tiffy time.
As they should.
So, I've been in multiple ladder matches. I was in one in NXT, and then I became Miss Money in the Bank in a ladder match. So I'm quite well versed in ladder matches. So I'm super excited to get out there and be in this 5-woman ladder match and walk out as Tiffy 2 titles.
Well, listen, I'm so excited for you. Congratulations on an amazing weekend. Congratulations on hitting 100 days as United States Champion tomorrow. We appreciate the time. We're going to leave you to the fans. They deserve your time and attention right now. Have a good one, Tiff.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Jackie, as you know, trying to become a double champion, the interim WWE Women's Championship ladder match. 5 women. Tiffany joined by Jade Cargill, Charlotte Flair, Chelsea Green, and Lash Legend came up with a big win last night. The final piece of the puzzle for the interim Women's Championship. Much more to come here on the Countdown Show. 10,000 pounds of steel, 20 feet high. It is the Hell in a Cell, and we're wondering what are the best moments ever when it comes to that. Plus, the man responsible for these 2 days. Triple H has arrived here to US Bank Stadium. We will hear from Paul Levesque coming up on the countdown to SummerSlam. It is in place, the giant structure that'll cover everything, including the ringside floor. And inside will be Brock Lesnar and Obafemi on the ESPN app today.
Inside this ring, when someone shows you weakness, you break them.
Outside the ring, the General gives you a break on your car insurance.
Didn't I tell you to stay in the locker room?
Hey, General, can anything help take the pain out of late payments?
Toughen up. Pain is how you learn.
Well, the General gives you flexible payment options to help keep you covered.
But in this ring, it's about pain, dominance, punishment.
Don't worry, Rhea. I'll take it from here. For a great low rate, go with the General.
SummerSlam has arrived in Minnesota. Of course, this city, Minneapolis, knows championship moments from Super Bowl glory to Final Four nets that have been cut down. Locals have seen the Twins with 2 World Series claimed, and today, championship gold comes to the squared circle. These fans, the WWE Universe, they've come out and forced the SummerSlam. What a great scene downtown, right next to US Bank Stadium. And they're all anxious to see Hell in a Cell and the King of the Ring, Obafemi. And how will he react to his 3rd match with Brock Lesnar, knowing the possible damage that can be done beyond what the other 2 were? And we had a great visit with CM Punk. He's closing in on another legendary night. He said as a champion he would honor any worthy challenger. Well, the one who immediately is taking it is the man who knows what it's like to be champion. That is Cody Rhodes. Many consider Io Sky to be the most purely talented women's superstar, but can she repeat her Queen of the Ring clinching performance? Io has called for the women's champ to run it back. Liv Morgan is set to defend tonight. And there he is, Cody Rhodes. The last few weeks, has it changed the relationship with CM Punk? As he said, the friendship is secondary when the top prize is on the line. This is the loaded and stacked card for SummerSlam Saturday, with the Undisputed Championship, with Hell in a Cell, and with the greatest to ever call the action ringside to do it yet again. SummerSlam will have Michael Cole ringside. Michael, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Joe. Thank you for the kind words. You know, this is the 53rd time that we have had a Hell in a Cell match in WWE. I had the pleasure and the privilege of being there at the very first one. St. Louis, Missouri, WWE In Your House, Bad Blood. Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker, when we saw the initial appearance of the now famous, legendary brother of The Undertaker, known as Kane. You know, the Hell in a Cell structure has made legends over the years. The Hell in a Cell structure has altered careers, and in some cases has ended careers. This structure that is above my shoulder, hanging above the ring here tonight, was once nicknamed the Devil's Playground.
I am more than steel and chain. Every dent in my frame, every scar on my wall is a reminder that someone gave everything inside of me. Championships have been defended inside my walls, but that's not my purpose. I am the final destination for those with nowhere left to run. I am where grudges end, where revenge is executed, and where redemption may be found. For when my door closes, there are no excuses, no distractions, no escape. The outside world disappears, and a single truth remains. No matter your reputation, no matter your pedigree, no matter your accomplishments, you cannot overcome me. You can only survive me. I don't create courage, I demand it. I don't reward greatness, I reveal it. When the lights fade, the crowd goes home, and the pain begins to settle in. I remain, waiting. And now a new rivalry comes to test my walls. One beast, one ruler. A rivalry that can no longer be settled by ordinary means. Brock Lesnar, Oba Femi, I am your final battlefield. I am the Devil's Playground. I am Hell in a Cell.
It may be the most infamous match in WWE history. The Hell in a Cell structure weighs 5 tons. It is 20 feet high. It surrounds the ring. The only way you win is via pinfall or submission, which means anything goes, and you can use Hell in a Cell as a weapon. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be sitting at ringside tonight calling the Oba Femi Brock Lesnar Hell in a Cell match, and I will be joined by a 5-time Intercontinental Champion, my buddy, Wade Barrett. Wade, welcome.
Thank you very much. What a thrill to be back at SummerSlam.
Let me ask you about Oba Femi. First time in his career that he is actually stepping inside Hell in a Cell against a man who has never lost inside this structure. What is going through Oba Femi's mind?
Yeah, Oba has to accept that in this match, he is going to face the most intense pain, not only of his career, but his entire life. And we don't know how Oba's going to react to that. Oba doesn't know how he's going to react to that. We actually sat down with Obafemi a few hours ago today, and Oba admitted to us he is feeling a little bit nervous about this matchup, as is understandable, but he plans to use those nerves, that adrenaline, as fuel to propel him to victory.
Will he be able to knock off Brock tonight? Well, we're going to find out. Also tonight, the undisputed WWE Championship is on the line. The American Nightmare Cody Rhodes wants to win what he calls his title back. He calls it a must-win situation against the man who is the current WWE Champion, none other than CM Punk. CM Punk had the opportunity to sit down with Stephanie McMahon as part of Stephanie's What's Your Story podcast.
People are going to be curious, I think, right? Because you and I have weird history where our paths weren't necessarily totally intertwined, but kind of, you know, along the same lines in certain parts.
Yeah.
But it is funny because I was kind of always on the outside of what was happening, you know, but I heard a lot of things, right? So but to start a little lighter, you know, this is now, and I've heard some talent on social media, right? They're talking about, oh, now you're doing the very thing that you said that you hated, you know, that, oh, the veteran comes back and, oh, he's going to steal the title from Sammy, you know, and.
Oh, I won the title.
Hell yeah. Fair and square.
Clean.
Fair and square.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it. You could watch the replay.
I beat that 41-year-old youngster fair and square in the middle of the ring.
Well, this is how he won it, guys. July 6th on Raw, CM Punk capturing the championship by defeating Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn, who earlier in the night was expecting to defend his gold against Cody Rhodes. Sami did not have any time to prepare for the best in the world, and it would eventually show with Punk connecting Go to Sleep and Nuke.
So this is interesting. We get the WWE, the Undisputed Championship coming up. We're under 2 hours away, by the way, to what's going to happen here at US Bank Stadium. SummerSlam night number 1. Massive crowd behind us here at the countdown to SummerSlam. Joe Tessitore and the crew. We continue on until 6 p.m. Eastern time, right here on ESPN. Then you can join us on the ESPN app for these sensational matches. And good news for YouTube subscribers. YouTube subscribers now can get ESPN Unlimited, so we invite you to do that. So Punk and Rhodes, the Undisputed Championship, on the line, night 1 here in Minneapolis. It was only a few weeks ago, Big E. We were all sitting here at Madison Square Garden. These guys were the best of friends tagging together. Things have changed.
They absolutely have, but that's what things look like when you're at the very top of the card, vying to be the very best. And I think both of those guys have said just that. We are here to put friendship aside to determine who the best in this company is. And not only that, but they've also talked about who wants to be the face of this company, who wants to be the one on all the billboards, who wants to be the one doing all the late night shows. That really all matters. And I think that friendship, you know, to what degree have they really been friends? I think you've questioned that as well.
I've been dubious at times.
A little bit, but I think none of that matters when it comes here tonight.
Yeah, I think there's so many things that make this match special. Number one, the competition between the two of them. Everyone wants to be the face of the place. They're competing with each other. They're also competing with Seth and Roman tomorrow night, because all 4 of those dudes believe they are the guy. But to the point about the friendship, E, the reason I play with it a little bit is that I believe they like each other. I believe they have a friendship. But Corey, these are 2 of the most competitive men in all of professional wrestling, and I don't believe for 1 second that a friendship could get in the way of what they really want, which is gold.
When CM Punk returned to WWE, he used an old adage. In this business, you can either make friends or you can make money. We happen to be seated beside the only guy who made it to the top of the mountain without sticking a dagger in somebody's back.
That's a great point.
Big E notwithstanding, there's only room for one. And to your point, Seth and Roman both believe they're the guy. But Punk, since he's come back, has made a lot of promises, and CM Punk has delivered on just about every single promise he's made. I don't see that changing tonight. And we heard Punk, we asked him point blank earlier, are you willing to go that extra mile? Are you willing to take a shortcut? Are you willing to do whatever it takes to avoid leaving another major WWE event without the gold you entered with? I think we'll get our answer tonight.
Yeah, we are closing in on the answer. It comes your way at 6 p.m. Eastern on the ESPN app from right here in Minneapolis. By the way, an absolutely spectacular afternoon as we are under 2 hours to the start to SummerSlam. WWE has taken over Minneapolis, literally. Chewy Martinez at SummerSlam TakeOver.
What's up, y'all? Chewy Martinez. Here we are, Superstar SummerSlam Minneapolis. We taking over Minnesota, baby.
I am a diehard Vikings fan.
Okay.
I've got the Vikings belt, so I figured this will be perfect to go with the belt.
We are getting some Seth Rollins gear. And
getting Danhausen and Alexa Bliss.
I love it.
We got this Minnesota State mini title.
Wow, love
Just
that.
signed by Liv Morgan about an hour ago.
Yes.
Limited edition of 10. This is the only place you're going to be able to get it.
I would curse the White Sox and the Guardians because I want the Twins to make the playoffs. You are cursed.
Got the Pentagear. I like that. That's a great shirt. What does it mean to be a founding member to you?
I mean, it's great. It means being part of a community. It means being part of something bigger than yourself.
This is major. Look at that, y'all.
Whenever we do these titles, the fans really love it.
A lot of it is exclusive to here and the city we're in. Oh, let's go! Minnesota! Take over! SummerSlam!
Hey, Chewy strutting pretty good there. By the way, I mean, the takeover is insane, but the Superstore, I mean, can you believe some of the merch at the Superstore? And am I correct in saying you can purchase now human monies? You can purchase.
Wait, is that true?
Or can you use human monies
I think
to purchase
you
things?
use human monies. I don't know if you could.
That looked like Danhausen money there.
Is there an exchange rate?
It's 2.5 human monies to $1 US. Yes,
Okay, fair enough.
I saw that at JFK, I believe.
Yeah.
Much more to come on our countdown to SummerSlam, including what happened recently at Fanatics Fest. And Cody Rhodes caught up with Tom Brady, slapping Logan Paul. Tom Brady getting after it at Fanatics Fest. You talk about a WWE takeover. That was one here. SummerSlam, of course, has taken over the WWE Universe for many years now through the years. And we will be adding more memories to all of this from US Bank Stadium today.
You had it, then ED took it. Take it back with Rougiette Ready, the 3-in-1 ED med that's up to 3 times faster than pills. Works in the brain and the body. Can start working fast and last up to 36 hours. Personalized to you, delivered to your door. Make your 20s jealous with Rougiette Ready. Get started today at Rougiette.com.
Minneapolis here just outside US Bank Stadium is the countdown to SummerSlam. Of course, this stadium quickly has become a premier sports venue through the years, hosting a Super Bowl, a Final Four, and now on the ESPN app at 6 p.m. Eastern, SummerSlam. We're just a couple weeks removed from what everybody was buzzing about at Fanatics Fest. And it was this moment that Tom Brady slapped Logan Paul. Now, Tom did have some fun partaking in some of the other events at Fanatics Fest, including some of the WWE signature event. Of course, showing off his great athletic skill was Brady, and showing a little Undertaker reference as well with his entrance. He caught up with Cody Rhodes on the What Do You Want to Talk About podcast.
I need to get an invite. I mean, I've been waiting for like Nick Khan to come up with some storyline for me to get in the mix. I feel like I'm retired from football, have an opportunity to go out there, still showcase I'm a little bit of an athlete. And, you know, my boy Gronk's done it. I've seen, obviously, Logan Paul do it. I think I could get in there for at least one match, right? Ooh. Come on, Nick. Come on, make it happen.
What Do You Want to Talk About podcast is out now. The edition with Cody Rhodes and Tom Brady. I mean, Brady's calling for getting involved here. Biggie, you could have one more match in you, I think, here. Biggie.
Oh, I'd love that.
You want to see me and Tom?
Oh, now we have a match.
Me and Tom Brady.
Biggie might end up looking like.
Hey, by the way, huge news this week. WWE Radio is now Sirius XM 24/7 audio home with the superstar host, exclusive talk, Peter Rosenberg.
Thank you.
But this play-by-play of premium live events, including SummerSlam. So you can tune into WWE Radio, channel 156, only on Sirius XM. And the men who will call it, Vic Joseph and Booker T. Gentlemen.
Thanks so much, Joe. Yeah, that's right. History will be made in the ring and out of the ring tonight. It'll be myself, my two-time Hall of Fame broadcast partner, Booker T. And Book, you know that in this industry, there are not a lot of firsts anymore. This is a first of its kind, and you and I will be on WWE Radio.
It is. It's a first, but this show is all about the people, right? Right? So one time, can I get a shucky ducky quack quack, huh? Shucky ducky quack quack. Oh, yes, man.
And Book, tonight, it's SummerSlam, right? This is an event that you main evented against The Rock.
The Rock.
And now you start thinking about guys that and superstars we've gotten to know, like Obafemi, like Trick Williams. They're going to walk the aisle at SummerSlam for the first time. What are their emotions going to be like?
Jimmy, Trick Williams, they are the next big things. And I tell those guys, tonight it's going to be a big night. But it's all about those butterflies going all over the place. You got to get those butterflies to line up and fly straight. And both of those two young men will do it like it's supposed to be done. Make them pay, my son. Make them say, Daddy, I don't want none. I had enough.
Well, if you liked what you just heard, don't miss what's going to happen between us tonight live on Sirius XM WWE Radio, channel 156. So from the voices
Get some, sucker.
of WWE Radio to the voice of the WWE, Michael Cole.
Hey, that's going to be some night with Booker in the booth. Remember, I went through that for years. Hey, I wish I was in the booth for radio, though. Of course, near and dear to my heart, I spent 8 years as a radio news reporter. I love the ability to be able to paint a picture using your words. But tonight, I will actually be here at the announce desk at ringside for SummerSlam in Minnesota, which is, of course, the home of the late, great, legendary Hall of Famer, Mr. Perfect Curt Hennig, who back at SummerSlam 1991 was involved in one of the greatest Intercontinental Championship matches in SummerSlam history.
History will be made tonight. Excellence of execution versus perfection. Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect.
Take a look, jam-packed here in the Garden. All the marbles at stake here. 20,000 plus on hand watching SummerSlam 91.
It's hard to believe that 35 years have passed since this classic at SummerSlam. The milestone feels even more meaningful today, knowing that this year, SummerSlam returns to Mr. Perfect's home state of Minnesota, where the beast that he helped to create will carry his memory into battle once more.
A guy by the name of Curt Hennig took me under his wing and trained me right when I started to break into the business. He was a great role model for me. Always helpful, always giving me advice. Showed me the old school ropes.
The families of Bret Hart and Curt Hennig are masters of the old school.
Both of you are second-generation wrestlers. Your father, a great one, and of course, Larry the Axe, a great one. But did the two of them ever meet? I'm very curious.
Yeah, they met. My dad beat his dad.
Your dad never beat my dad.
Bret and Curt both understood what it meant to be a wrestler's kid, knowing that they would need to carve out their own legacies in the family business. And at SummerSlam 91, we witnessed their masterpiece.
The people will never, ever see another match like they're going to see in SummerSlam.
He really loved the business and protected it. And Curt spent many days and hours with me studying film, and he brought this one match out.
Perfect's got not only his title on the line, but his reputation.
You know, there's people that didn't think the Hitman could do it in singles competition, that I was only a tag team wrestler.
Uppercut sends him over the top rope and down to the concrete. Now, he might have hurt his back on that move. Well, Hitman's literally pulling him apart here.
The critics are saying, does the Hitman have what it takes?
Boy, those moves are crisp, they're sharp, they're fast. What a great match. This is wrestling. This is great. No, he got him down. I can't believe it.
Nobody's ever kicked out of the perfect plex.
Curt influenced me in the ring. You know, I mean, he was an athlete. He was a legitimate athlete.
I hate to keep going into a family business type situation, but I believe second generation wrestlers are always your best wrestlers. Bret Hart, myself.
That night at Madison Square Garden, Curt Hennig showed Bret Hart the ultimate respect.
The sharpshooter, he's got it!
And made the Hitman.
We've got ourselves a new Intercontinental champ.
This is a highly emotional scene, being hugged by his father.
This has got to be the greatest day for the Hitman.
This is a tremendous victory for the whole family.
And ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow night, another Minnesotan will take center stage, none other than Chad Gable, who's from Minneapolis, Minnesota. His family and friends will be at ringside tomorrow night to see if Chad Gable can finally win the elusive singles championship. Chad Gable, can he get it done at SummerSlam?
Michael, you mention his name, and immediately the crowd here roars. They're not doing the same for Jacy Jayne and her Fatal Influence. Of course, Fallon Henley and Lainey Reed taking the gold recently, defeating Brie Bella and Paige. But on July 24th, Nikki Bella returns to now a 6-woman tag team match as we check in with Jackie.
Tess, thank you so much. Yes, I am here with Paige and the Bellas, who will take on Fatal Influence tonight. First things first, Nikki Bella is back, and I haven't seen you. How are we feeling? Are you ready or what?
I am so ready. I'm feeling really strong. I have to say, these past 3 months, I have felt stronger. My mindset's been even better, and everyone should be really scared for Nikki Bella to come back tonight, because I'm gonna have a lot of fire tonight. A lot of fire.
I can feel that right now.
Yeah.
Oh, baby, but we're ready, right, Brie?
We're always ready. I think everyone's seen that since WrestleMania. We're always ready to fight, so Fatal Influence should be really scared tonight.
And you know what? We need to get ready. But first things first, we've got some cool merch shirts, baby. So make sure you go to TheReshop.com.
Get it out there.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's go.
We run it, we rule it.
That's right, baby.
Yes, bye.
Ladies, thank you so much. Good luck tonight. You know where to get it. WWE Shop. Tess, back to you.
Thank you very much, Jackie. How do you see this one, Bellas and Paige against Fatal Influence?
Well, first of all, you're catching me as I'm still emotional coming off that package about Mr. Perfect and Bret Hart.
He's emotional because they were sold out of Brie Bella t-shirts.
Yeah,
that's really why he's emotional.
You're not wrong. I am excited that Nikki Bella is back. And we all saw how heartbroken she was to be injured prior to WrestleMania. Think about how much that changes the landscape of the women's division. Nikki goes down, all of a sudden Paige is back, a women's tag title run for them. But you have to be impressed with, as much as I could wax poetic about my Bellas, you have to be impressed with what Jacy Jayne and those girls have done since they've made it to SmackDown. And now, Corey, this is hands down their biggest opportunity so far.
I think what we just saw is sort of a microcosm of this matchup. The fact that you've got the Hall of Famers, the Bella Twins, deservedly so. You've got Paige, likely a future Hall of Famer. They're worried about shilling their new t-shirts. They're worried about showing the world that. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, you've got the brand new women's tag team champions in Fatal Influence. who understand that one win does not a legacy make. They have a lot of work to do. Some would say, Biggie, you could probably speak to this better than any of us, when you win a championship, that's when the work truly begins. Fatal Influence now find themselves as the targets for the first time since arriving on the main roster.
That they do, but I definitely see a hunger. When I see those three women come out, I think they're so absurdly talented. We saw for the first month or so them getting booed out of the building every time they were on SmackDown. I think they have a ton to prove. This is their first real big spotlight. This is SummerSlam. And for those women to have this opportunity, I think they're absolutely going to show out. I think Fatal Influence is going to demonstrate to a lot of people that they are far more talented than a lot of us even realize.
You know, just a few weeks ago, I remember bumping into them backstage at Madison Square Garden after they took gold. They always say, once you become a champion in combat sports, you're 25% better instantly. You're more confident. You carry yourself a little differently. We will see how that plays a role in the 6-woman tag team match. Bellas and Paige against J.C. Jane's Fatal Influence. The scene here outside US Bank Stadium is quite something. As we count down, we're just over 90 minutes away from this 2-day spectacle airing on the ESPN app at 6 p.m. Eastern. It is SummerSlam. Some of the great memorable moments through the years of the biggest party of the summer.
Oh man, you talk about my Bellas. Not a good moment there for Brie Bella, of course, against Stephanie McMahon in LA.
HBK one-on-one with Goldberg inside the Elimination Chamber, and RIP to the Hot Rod.
The absolute legend. And Roman Reigns has really made a name for himself at SummerSlam. I expect him to do that once again.
And still to come, the memorable moments when it comes to Hell in a Cell. It feels like it's an absolute guarantee that we are adding to the list with Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi.
America, baby!
Man, this is what dreams are made of.
We've forgotten who we are. From now on, we put our family first.
These are the sons I need.
What? Hold up.
Oh no.
What? Oh, it is Haku! You are the sons of Haku. Now, go and make them fear of us again. The mother***ungen.
There are just certain guys in life who are for real. Haku is that guy.
There are very few superstars who have walked through these doors or any doors in this industry spoken with as much reverence as Haku is. True fear. You can ask anybody who was around when Haku was in his prime, arguably the baddest dude in any locker room you could step foot in. To this very day, I still think a lot of people are afraid of Haku. And above all, I think the tag team division needs to pay special attention because you have the sons of Haku, Talatonga, Tamatonga, and they obviously weren't getting the job done. So Daddy showed up. Daddy's here, and when Daddy is Haku, that is bad news for anybody in the way of the MFT.
He's a tone setter. That's what he is. He's a tone setter. We all know his legend. We all know his legacy. It is earned. I met this man at the start of my career more than 15 years ago, and the amount of reverence, you're right, the way he is spoken about to this day, he is that guy, and I think he is going to bring an energy to the MFTs that they desperately need.
Listen, I don't know if I could say it any better than @GhostMode98 said it, but let me try.
That's you, Peter. Let's stop kidding ourselves.
That was my burner account. No, this is one of those things we love, though, right? You're watching SmackDown, all of a sudden you see the MFTs, and you get history walking through the doors and one of the ultimate badasses ever in WWE.
Oh, and that dreaded Tongan death grip you've been hearing so much about over the last several months, well utilized by Jacob Fatu, popularized, made world famous by Haku. He is a bad man.
And we saw the results instantly in terms of the kind of edge that he brings because his sons just wiped out the tag team championship match that we were watching last night as there were bodies everywhere. So there is a hard edge brought now with Haku. LA Knight has been a man on a mission as the megastar has arrived here to US Bank Stadium. The 6-man tag team match is coming your way. The Bloodline against Royce Keys, Solo Sikoa, and LA Knight.
I understand now. I was lost. I left my family. But I always known that blood is thicker than water. So I'm coming home to the family.
You see, your family business is affecting everyone around here, and it's starting to affect me.
You can't stop me. You won't stop me. I will destroy the bloodline, and that's just a fact of life. Yeah.
Family business or not, that whole damn locker room got issues with the bloodline. What you think I'ma do if somebody disrespects me, huh? I'm gonna dog walk your punk ass. This your warning shot. Blood don't make your ass family. Royalty makes you family. So I hate that damn family. And the only way for me to feel better is if I finish them.
And the enemy of my enemy can be friends.
I'm sick and damn tired of the whole bloodline, but what I realize, I don't have to do it by myself. I'm thinking Jimmy, Jay, Jacob, I'm thinking Royce Keys, I'm even thinking Solo Sikoa, and I'm thinking SummerSlam.
Kathy Kelly here with the Bloodlines. Jimmy and Jay Uso and Jacob Fatu. Now, you guys are looking very cohesive in the matching merch, but I have to say that your opponents tonight also looking surprisingly cohesive going into your match. Solo Sikoa, Royce Keys, and LA Knight. Does that concern you at all?
Hey, you know what, Kathy? Everybody thinks that the bloodline is not on the same page. Hey, we be telling everybody and their mama and them, this is a warning shot. Bow. LA Knight, warning shot. Bow. Royce Keys, warning shot. Bow. Solo Sikoa, warning shot. Bow. Hey, and just like that WrestleMania, Bloodline taking a W, just like tomorrow night, OTC taking a W too, because we letting everybody and their mama know they the tools and we the one.
You know, Jacob scares me a little bit when he's that silent, as this segment is brought to you by Gears of War E-Day. Pre-order and get beta early access starting August 6th. Where do you stand here on this six-man tag team match?
Well, I agree with Kathy that I have been impressed with the cohesiveness that I've seen with Solo's group. They have put something together. But blood is always thicker than water. And while I know there have been ups and downs, certainly, and Jacob Fatu, we know that he answers to the OTC, not Jimmy and Jay. I think when push comes to shove and you see those guys together, you will see how family gels when it comes down to it.
I agree. When I saw the reformation of the Bloodline, my thought was, you better assemble the Avengers. Who is going to stand against these guys? I think this is an excellent team, man. This is a Solo Sikoa. Can we spend a moment talking about Solo this last month or two? This man is his most comfortable. I love, anytime he has a mic in his hand, I am glued to my screen. But I think that also speaks to how comfortable he is. I think he better understands himself. And I think Royce Keys is also someone who has come up and has tremendous talent and has so much to prove. This is his first PLE in WWE. He is trying to show out, and let's talk about LA Knight, a man who has hit his head against that glass ceiling time and time again. A big win here tonight, I think, allows those three men to really move on to bigger things after this.
I agree with you, E, but I think it all boils down to how the Bloodline works together. We've seen multiple instances recently of the Samoan werewolf Jacob Fatu flat out refusing to take orders, suggestions, even advice from Jey Uso or Big Jim Uso. I think if they can all end up on the same page tonight, I think it's going to be a rough night for LA Knight and company.
But part of me likes that Jacob Fatu, who's that dog off the chain. I don't know how much you want to rein him in.
But Roman seems to be the only one that holds the reins.
Well done. I guess I just have this sneaking suspicion that tonight when the lights are on, they will figure it out as a unit. And LA Knight, we were having this conversation on WWE Radio, Sirius XM Channel 156. LA Knight is a guy who people talk about making it to the World Championship picture. In order for him to do that, he has to get wins like tonight. He has to get out of that Bloodline vortex.
You mentioned the X factor of Jacob Fatu, but keep in mind, on the other side of Royce Keys, and they have a long-standing shared history. They have been face-to-face. They have been battling. These are guys who are trusted friends for a decade plus. Could they neutralize each other? We mentioned Roman Reigns, the OTC. Well, tomorrow is the big one, the World Heavyweight Championship. The rivals spanning their run from the Shield, the Betrayal, the Backup, and all the way through modern times. An epic clash, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, the World Heavyweight Championship from SummerSlam.
Hello, my brother. We came in here, one goal in mind.
We were committed to the cause. We were committed to take over.
14 years. You and I have been tied together. There is one thing that you have not been able to do. Beat me.
I don't want to beat you. I need to beat you.
I could be a villain. I own you. WrestleMania 31, I cashed in on your ass and sent your whole family home in tears. Seth Rollins beats Roman Reigns every single time. I own you.
Seth Rollins is the Tribal Chief's #1 hater. What if you do beat me at SummerSlam? You're gonna carry it for a couple months and get hurt again? Some people just can't handle the pressure and the burden of being the top guy around here.
I'm the only real superstar that WWE has.
Who's on your Mount Rushmore? This man is his own mountain.
Acknowledge me. After all these years, he still needs a Money in the Bank briefcase to become champion. You're number 2, always gonna be a number 2. I'm number 1, always gonna be number 1. And just acknowledge it, bitch. I need to beat you.
My brother, I will always love you.
Little brother, I hate you. At SummerSlam, I'll show you what number 1 looks like.
You will never be able to escape the ghosts of Seth Rollins.
Well, needless to say, Roman and Seth might have more history than any other 2 superstars on the current roster. They go so far back. And it is fascinating, right? You hear Roman Reigns in that package say, I'll always be number 1 and you'll always be number 2. Which is interesting when you think about the career of the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. I mean, you have to go pretty far back in WWE history to find a superstar with a resume as decorated as Roman's. And yet, the one thing missing for the Tribal Chief is a win over Seth Rollins on a stage this big where it really counts. Seth Rollins, the same guy who delivered Roman's first betrayal, first heartbreak as a WWE superstar in this business. And Seth Rollins never lets him forget it. It's gotta drive Roman Reigns crazy. And I think that is at the crux, that is at the center of why Roman Reigns has said more than once, he doesn't want this victory over Seth, he needs it.
Yeah, Jackie, there are a lot of moments that could drive him crazy, right? WrestleMania 31, 2016 Money in the Bank, versus 2022 Royal Rumble. This feels a little different to me, though, because so many times when you frame Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, you discuss the past and the woven history and the rivalry that spans all those years. There's an urgency now at this point in their careers. This, to me, is far more about the now and the immediate future.
I think I totally agree with you, because we also don't know how long we have with both of these guys.
That's my point.
I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, they're both in great shape, but this thing does not last forever, and they've been dominant for a very long time. I'm frankly not ready to say goodbye to the rivalry that is Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Here's the question I have for you, E. Seth has mentioned kind of being at peace with where he is. He knows Roman's the OTC, the head of the table, and he's comfortable with that. Is it to his advantage that he's accepted that, or does it mean he's resigned to being number 2?
That's the question I keep replaying in my head over and over, because I could see this being one of 2 different routes. One, this new, more settled version of Seth Rollins, who can look back and is proud of where he's at and isn't always trying to be Roman. That can be an advantage in that, like, I know who I am and I'm ready to go out there and just be my very best. Or if he doesn't have that same edge, I don't know if he's not chasing Roman Reigns in that spot, can he get it done?
I'm going to paraphrase and borrow a quote from none other than CM Punk, and that the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was making the world believe he did not exist.
You don't buy it.
If you think for 1 second that Seth Rollins is even remotely intimidated by Roman Reigns, you are sadly mistaken. That's exactly where the architect wants you to be. Since FCWE, you were there. You and I spent time in cars with Roman, in the ring with Seth. Roman has always been the foregone conclusion. We always knew Roman was one of these days going to be the guy. And that very fact wakes Seth Rollins up in the morning. That's why Rollins gets in the gym. That's why Rollins continues to put himself and his family through the hell of being a WWE superstar, because it eats at Rollins each and every day. But in Seth's heart, Seth still looks at Roman as his little brother. Rollins is supremely confident heading into this World Heavyweight Championship match. And if Roman makes one mistake, Seth will capitalize and leave Minnesota with the gold.
Things have really escalated in recent weeks, including what we saw on Raw on July 13th with the contract signing, and now tomorrow it comes your way, the World Heavyweight Championship, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, as we say hello to Byron Saxton. Sax?
Thank you very much, guys. This segment is presented by Cricket, so it only makes sense that I'm coming to you from the Cricket Fan Zone. We got some passionate fans behind me. And joining us is my guest. He is all ego, Ethan Page. Nice ovation for, okay, that wasn't very nice. Ethan, nonetheless, a historical weekend, the first ever two-night SummerSlam, stat card tonight, stat card tomorrow night. Which match are you looking forward to the most?
Well, I would have been looking forward to my own, but we all make mistakes. I guess I'm looking forward to seeing the Intercontinental Championship match. Who walks out with that championship and who will have the privilege of losing it to me?
Well, I'm sure there are a lot of folks who would love to see Chad Gable become Intercontinental Champion here in Minnesota. But let's focus on you, your favorite topic.
Please.
Since we're making history this weekend, how do you plan to make history in your career going forward?
You're just going to skip over SummerSlam weekend already?
Maybe I shouldn't.
I think we're going to make history this weekend, guys. Because I promise you, Byron, this will be the last SummerSlam without All Ego on the card. History will not repeat itself. I promise. Trust me.
I'm sure we all can. Well said, Ethan. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Let's send things back to the panel.
Thank you, Byron, very much. Still to come on this countdown to SummerSlam. CM Punk one-on-one working out with Big E.
Whoa.
All access with CM Punk.
Don't seem as friendly. You're in a locker room with other athletes. Not that Cody's in the locker room. He's got his own bus. It's something that happens at the highest level of competition.
We've been enjoying looking through all the years of SummerSlam moments. Oh,
Ain't love grand?
That was Cleveland, right? Going all the way back to 1992.
That's my SummerSlam, baby. Wembley Stadium in '92.
Rey Mysterio, I absolutely love Rey's looks at these big shows, unparalleled.
TLC, the Hardys, the Dudleys, SummerSlam 2000.
And then, of course, John Cena, the classic spinner title back at SummerSlam 05.
You're the American war hero.
Boom.
I've been tasked with finding the greatest fighters on Earth.
Are you ready for street fighting?
My true opponent.
Street Fighter, only theaters October 16, rated PG-13.
We are here in Minneapolis on a weekend when star-making moments will be the buzz. The hometown of Prince knows a thing or two about unforgettable performances, and tonight we will make more at SummerSlam. Countdown to SummerSlam is presented by Cricket 5G. Join Cricket Wireless, get reliable nationwide 5G on the AT&T network. All eyes are on the structure inside US Bank Stadium. Hell in a Cell. It sits high above the ring for now, but when it's lowered later tonight, it will come with a level of anticipation for that man. Oba Femi has arrived. He comes to Minnesota red hot, having been locked in a cell during the Monday weigh-in, tearing through security, aiming to keep peace. There will be no peace tonight. CM Punk is ready to defend the top prize in the business, the undisputed WWE champion. He was going at it with Cody Rhodes deep into the night as SmackDown went off the air in Green Bay. Now, refocus, retain. And Liv Morgan with the new Women's Intercontinental Champion, Raquel Rodriguez, by her side. She has lived trouble as a theme for years, but now it's Io Sky who's been making trouble for Liv. The Queen of the Ring against Liv tonight. And the ring general is here. Gunther has come up short of the championship under controversial circumstances. Now that leads him to a match that could see more coming. It's against Nick Aldis. It has been yet another year of incredible obstacles to overcome, highs and lows for Cody Rhodes. It is the undisputed championship match, and it's on the ESPN app tonight, right here at SummerSlam.
The epic two-night SummerSlam begins.
Let's take it back to what we love it at.
Everybody sees the swagger, the success, the charisma. Can't teach that part. But what they don't see is the focus it takes to get here. Every rep, every sacrifice.
How do you think they get the physiques that they do?
Training hard like absolute animals. They're putting in the work.
That's how you earn the right to walk through this tunnel. And that's how every WWE superstar earned theirs.
Doesn't matter if your tunnel leads to a field or a ring. Pressure's on the other side, bet.
Hell in a Cell? Man, that's just different.
Two gladiators locked inside of the most sadistic structure ever devised.
These are the moments you want.
I don't want to beat you. I need to beat you.
The moments you work for.
I went from the one who knocks to the one they knock for.
Box office perfection.
The moments everybody remembers.
The excitement is here. The pandemonium is here. The electricity is in the air.
This is where stars become highlights.
I am going to destroy you.
Greg Greener, get in the booth and team up. Cena's temperature heat up.
We are in for a showdown in Minnesota.
Eyes up. Skull.
King of the city, let's build a monument.
Welcome, everybody, to SummerSlam.
In my house.
Justin Jefferson's house, US Bank Stadium, where we're used to hearing the Skull chants. But tonight, it'll be the roar of the WWE Universe echoing through US Bank Stadium for SummerSlam and loaded matches. What a card we have in store for you. Thrilled that you're with us, Joe Tessitore and the crew here as we count down now. We're just over an hour away from the second time that we've had a two-day version of SummerSlam. This is what is coming your way in moments this Saturday night, Big E. It is over the top with action.
Look, this thing is absolutely stacked. I'm telling you, make sure that your feet are ready, because when you feel that tremor, When Brock collides with Obafemi, do not be surprised.
Corey Graves, the thing you're most excited about on this Saturday card.
I'm with Big E. Hell in a Cell. Brock Lesnar, Obafemi. 2 gladiators will enter the cell, and I have a feeling that only one of them is walking out.
Peter?
There's so much. Like, when you look at that graphic, you realize how stacked this card is. But for me, it's Nick Aldis and Gunther. I just cannot wait to see Nick Aldis, now no longer GM, at least for the moment, show his decorated past. Because this is a guy who has done it on a championship, world-class level before, and now he's up against the ring general. Cannot wait for him.
The card is loaded. So is our roster of ace reporters to give you all the coverage as we work our way to 6 p.m. Eastern through the night, right through the post show on the ESPN app. We mentioned Hell in a Cell. Brock has never lost that, and with that in mind, we start with Jackie Redmond.
Well, Tess, there's Brock Lesnar, of course, and then there's Brock Lesnar inside Hell in a Cell. And we all know those are 2 completely different ball games. And while Obafemi might have chosen Brock Lesnar, it was the Beast incarnate that chose Hell in a Cell, and for good reason. Not only is it WWE's most unforgiving structure, it is a place where Brock Lesnar thrives. You could say it's where the Beast comes alive. You said it, Tess. Inside that cage, Brock Lesnar is undefeated. So I'll say this. If Obafemi can pull off the victory tonight, and that is a big if, we could potentially see the end of an era, the end of one big legacy, and the beginning of another. Byron, over to you.
Thank you, Jackie. When you look at the Women's World Championship match between Liv Morgan and Io Sky, you have to look at all the distractions in Liv's orbit this week. From celebrating with Raquel Rodriguez, who won the Intercontinental Championship, celebrating her own milestone of reigning over 100 days as Women's World Champion. She's got all the Dominic Mysterio, Danhausen stuff on her mind. Then on the flip side, you have Io Sky, who for over a month now has been solely focused on defeating Liv Morgan. So while this match should be pretty hard-hitting, those ancillary factors could have an impact on the psyche of the Women's World Champion. Now for talk on the undisputed WWE Championship match, let's hear from Kathy Kelly.
Yeah, thanks so much, Byron. Now, it's kind of crazy to think that just a couple of weeks ago, the undisputed WWE champion, CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, thought that they could separate their friendship from competition, but that line has clearly been blurred. There's been several missteps, whether intentional or not, and it's kind of poetic. Tonight, the 20th anniversary of CM Punk's WWE debut. Earlier on the show, he said that he is feeling the best that he's ever felt spiritually, mentally, and physically going into his match tonight. The question is, will the winner also lose a friend? Joe?
Get those answers in just a few hours, but let's focus in on how we have arrived to this. CM Punk as champion, Cody Rhodes as challenger. Well, remember, Sami Zayn pulled off a major upset. He was the champion for 9 days. That's it, 9 days, because on July 6th, Cody was looking to get that gold back when Gunther attacked, and that opened up the door for a late replacement in Chicago, CM Punk.
And mind you, this was the first time we saw CM Punk back since WrestleMania, but boy, did he come back with a vengeance.
And then you see at Saturday Night's Main Event, the incidental contact with the title, and the physicality got worse from there, Graves.
Consider the incidental contact the flashpoint, because things have only escalated in the days and weeks since. CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, one-on-one for the undisputed WWE Championship. As we saw last night on SmackDown, tempers have flared. Tensions have risen. 2 of the best in the game doing battle for the richest prize on SmackDown.
Remember, that comes your way on tonight's card, the Saturday edition of SummerSlam. So we've had the chance to visit with both men, the champion Punk, the challenger Cody. What do you take away from the way they are today?
That's a really good question. Mentality-wise, I gotta tell you, I mean, I know Kathy just alluded to this. Punk mentioned the 20-year anniversary, which is very, very cool, and he seemed to have some emotion about that. But I have to tell you, he didn't seem his usual relaxed day of self. He's been walking around all day with the hood over his head. A little bit of a different mentality than the recent jovial Punk we've gotten used to.
A different mentality from CM Punk as opposed to how he was at WrestleMania, where he entered World Heavyweight Champion and did not leave the same way. I think Punk understands the assignment better tonight than he did back at WrestleMania. Punk, of all people, willing to throw friendships aside, willing to set things apart. We can figure it out tomorrow. We can figure it out next week. Tonight is about one thing: the undisputed WWE Championship. Punk has it, and you're going to have to kill him to take it from him.
And I thought what was interesting when Kathy had an opportunity to sit down with Cody, I think that version of Cody was a little bit more contemplative. There was a little fire that wasn't quite there. I don't know if he's saving that for tonight, but I wonder if he's starting to, if the wheels are turning. I think Cody's going to have to go to a place to beat Punk that would probably betray their friendship, and maybe for good.
Tell me this, what did you make of the line when he said there's no one around, all these great guys at the top, best time of the industry, I don't sweat any of them except CM Punk? What did you make of that line specifically?
I think it's because, I don't know to what degree this friendship has existed. I think in many ways they've traveled similar paths with leaving the company, coming back, winning championships again. I think they're still jockeying to decide who really is the guy here in WWE.
We are under an hour to go from the start of SummerSlam. Remember, we're on ESPN up until then, and then you move over to the ESPN app as we will move over into that beautiful palatial structure right next to us and head inside. The show will continue. Countdown continues inside US Bank Stadium as we say hello again to the great Michael Cole.
Thanks a lot, Joe. You guys just had a great discussion about the Punk-Cody Rhodes matchup here tonight for the undisputed WWE Championship. CM Punk, I've known the man for 20 years. He is in the best shape of his life at 47 years old. He's developed better stamina, he's developed more power, and we have to see how that is going to come into play in his match against Cody Rhodes tonight. How has Punk done it? How's he done it in the gym? Well, we sent him into the gym with Big E to find out.
You think you're in the best shape of your life right now?
I'm definitely in the best shape I've ever been at age 47. My biggest competitor is myself from yesterday, so I just want to be 1% better every day.
We're going into SummerSlam.
Yes.
It's you and Cody Rhodes.
Yes.
Spent the last several years talking about your friendship with Cody.
Yep.
But things don't seem as friendly. Is this egos boiling over, or is this something worse?
I hope it's not something worse. It's definitely egos. Like, it's hard to take your ego out of things when you're in a locker room with other athletes. Not that Cody's in the locker room. He's got his own bus. It's just, it's something that happens at the highest level of competition. We're very similar in the respect that we want the highest pressure situation. We want the company on our back. We want that responsibility without getting into all this weird quarterback throws the ball. You know, I've been the receiver for this place since I came back. Like, I score touchdowns time and time again. All right. Let's go, boys. Let's go, boys. Come on.
Wow. Taking it up a notch.
It's probably a little not safe for work.
Talk about an ode to one's wife. That's how you do it. From head to toe, quite literally.
We got you.
Yep.
This one's for Cody.
Here we go. Strong. Yeah, buddy. Good shots. Oh, speaking of Cody.
Yeah.
When SummerSlam, your SummerSlam match is over, what do you think everyone will be talking about?
It's a hard question to answer because I'm confident I'll win, but I'm also wise enough to know that it could go either way. And I don't want to be on the other side of it thinking my hubris is what got me the L. Anybody can beat anybody one time. I think win, lose, or draw, what people are going to be talking about is they're going to have to see that again. Because I don't know if one match is going to settle anything.
So how does the new physique come into play tonight when CM Punk defends the undisputed WWE Championship against Cody Rhodes? We are going to find out in just a few moments here at SummerSlam Saturday. We are live inside the US Bank Stadium in Minnesota, the home of the NFL's Vikings. And still to come here tonight on the Countdown Show, none other than the Chief Content Officer of WWE, the Hall of Famer, Paul Triple H Levesque, will join the show. Also to come tonight, some of the great moments in the history of Hell in a Cell. Ladies and gentlemen, 53rd time that Hell in a Cell will take part on a WWE television show. We'll take a look at some of the great highlights over the years as the Countdown Show rolls on from Minnesota.
ESPN Unlimited plan, it is now included with select YouTube TV subscriptions, which means you can stream new favorites like WWE SummerSlam at no extra charge.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to US Bank Stadium. We are officially less than 60 minutes away from kicking off night one of SummerSlam here in Minnesota as we check in with Kathy Kelly, who's standing by with Triple H.
Yeah, guys, I'm here with Chief Content Officer of WWE, Paul Triple H Levesque. Paul, I know you have so much going on today, so I appreciate you taking the time. Of course. I know on Monday you were in the ring with Obafemi when he was locked inside by Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. You've been in quite a few Hell in a Cell matches, so what do you think it's going to take for either of these men to win?
I can tell you this, having been inside Hell in the Cell many times, more than I would like to have, Brock Lesnar, the last guy you want to be locked in Hell in the Cell with, maybe just as much as Obafemi you don't want to be locked in a Hell in a Cell with. This is going to be extreme. This is going to be brutal. This is going to be, and I know it's a word we don't use often, but violent. This is a clash. Two monsters, two giant human beings just tearing it up and doing anything to win. And Brock Lesnar is dangerous enough. You put him in his hometown inside Hell in the Cell. I don't know. It's going to be tough, but I can't wait to watch.
I mean, he's definitely got some experience over Oba, but we got to talk about the other matches because the card is absolutely stacked for SummerSlam. Is there any match tonight in particular that you think could steal the show?
You know, it's a funny thing on these events. You start putting the best of the absolute best in there. So you look at tonight, Hell in the Cell, Obafemi, Brock Lesnar, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Io Sky, Liv Morgan. Tomorrow, Roman and Seth, right? Like, you have that women's ladder match, Penta, Gable. Like, the amount of talent, the amount of people that can at any given moment absolutely steal the night is off the chart. This is going to be an epic 2 days. I can't wait.
People like Sami Zayn pulling out all the stops to try to get on the SummerSlam card. I mean, I feel like it's a very important 2 nights for all of the superstars. I know you have a lot to do, so thank you so much for taking the time. And let's send it back to the panel.
Thank you very much, Kathy. This is what is coming your way today on SummerSlam as we have made our way inside US Bank Stadium, and the anticipation is growing. In the sunlight here inside the dome with all the glass and natural light. It's a wonderful setting for an August mega event here in Minnesota, and what a card we have here as we check in with Peter.
Well, Tess, thank you so much. I am in my favorite spot in Gorilla here at SummerSlam. Now, this is going to be of particular interest to a man named Nick Aldis, because Nick Aldis is used to being in Gorilla, but he's sitting here watching the monitor. Not tonight. Not tonight. For the first time in WWE, Nick Aldis instead is going to walk through the curtain, come around here, and hit this stage as he prepares for his first match ever as a WWE superstar up against Gunther. It's going to be amazing. Kathy Kelly, how are you?
This shot.
I really did.
Cardio in. And this is a long ramp. I have to tell you, Peter, this is one of the most visually stunning SummerSlam sets that I've ever seen. 80 feet tall, 430 feet in length. Now, just for context, a football field, end zone to end zone, is about 360 feet. So this set itself, all of the screens, longer than a football field. This ramp that we're walking down, the path to glory for the superstars tonight, about 60 feet long as they either walk or run, make their way to the ring for their match. Now let's hand it over to Jackie Redmond.
I gotta tell you, Kathy, I much prefer when they run down the ramp. There's just something about that energy that I love. And I'll say this too, that right there, high above me, about 20 feet above me, has to be one of the coolest, most badass structures in all of sports and entertainment. The Hell in a Cell cage, made entirely of steel. It weighs about 14,000 pounds, and I know you're wondering, that's roughly 46 Brock Lesnar's, for those wondering at home. It's 20 feet high, 30 feet long, and there is a reason we call it WWE's most unforgiving structure. And guys, I gotta say, like, I don't have the guts to get inside of it, but I am very excited to see Brock and Oba go one-on-one tonight inside Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, it is intimidating just to look up and to see it. Did you ever think we would see Nick Aldis, the SmackDown general manager, now getting ready for battle? That happens against Gunther tonight at SummerSlam.
My whole career, I pride myself with being an outstanding professional. But ever since I joined SmackDown, I have been mistreated. I want justice for what happened to me. I should be WWE champion. The only reason you did why I'm not champion is you. Me, you fix this. You're jealous because you're a failed wrestler yourself. Would you get the off of me? Come on, come on. Fix your mistake, okay?
Fix my mistake. The main event for SummerSlam remains the same. It will be Cody Rhodes.
It's been an honor and a privilege to be the SmackDown GM until Gunther put his hands on me and it became about being a man. In fact, my dream was to be a wrestler. I won championships, multiple different companies, multiple different countries, against Hall of Famers, icons, legends of our industry.
Every man has his breaking point, and congratulations, you found mine.
You are jealous of me. I got it all. I'll have you join a list of very iconic legends that were stupid enough to step in the ring with their injured eye.
I've got nothing to lose. But when I beat you at SummerSlam, you go from the career killer to the man that got made a bitch by his boss.
And don't forget what Nick Aldis has accomplished in his career before he put on the suit, before he became the SmackDown general manager. As we welcome you inside US Bank Stadium, Joe Tessitore, Corey Graves, and the former WWE champion, Big E. What a magnificent setting here as we're closing in on the start of SummerSlam night number 1. All right, let's get into it. Nick Aldis against Gunther. This is not some little soft re-entry back to going inside the ropes when Aldis goes up against Gunther.
Listen, I understand why Nick Aldis is doing what he's doing. This is a man who dedicated his career, his life, to this industry and made it all the way to the very, very tippy top of the mountain except for that last step, that being WWE. And Aldis tasted a great deal of success, but there's something inherent in people who willingly enter this business. You can attest to it. I can attest to it. Joe, you haven't competed, but you understand the passion.
Right.
I do understand the passion. To be beaten up for a living, you have to love it. You have to be obsessed with it to a degree. And that's what that obsession has taken Nick very far in his career. Being general manager of SmackDown, nothing to turn your nose up at. But Big E, I know you and I can speak to this better than probably anyone in the stadium. To be told that you can't do it.
Right.
We want you to play a role, but you're not going to do what brought you to the dance. You don't get to step inside the ring. You don't get to lace up your boots anymore. That will drive a man absolutely mad. What I fear for, as it pertains to Nick Aldis, is who he lost his temper with. The ring general, the man who retired John Cena, who retired AJ Styles, who retired Goldberg, arguably the most complete professional wrestler in the business today, Gunther.
Look, Nick Aldis, when he got signed and hired as the GM for SmackDown, I believe it was only in his mid-30s. I always thought, as someone who had all these accolades, I always thought surely his time in the ring is not over. But to your point, to not have a bit of a match that gets you warmed up, to come right into Gunther, that is your first match after all those years being away from the ring. I think it's such a tough task. But I know how you feel about all the men with podcasts. But we saw Nick Aldis sit down with Chris Van Vliet. And the emotion that poured out of this man, you can see how much it means to him to finally come back and have this match. I think he'll give it his all. I think he'll pour everything he has out in the ring tonight. But it's Gunther.
I have no doubt we'll see the best that Nick Aldis has to offer. But to your point, it's Gunther. And there's been a lot of conversation, Joe, recently of who is the most pressure actually on. Is it Aldis or is it Gunther, the former world heavyweight champion? To me, anyone thinking that Gunther's feeling any kind of pressure right now is sadly mistaken. Nick Aldis is risking his well-being, his career, his income for his family.
But this is counter to a conversation. I love your point. It's so counter to what the norm may feel, because they say, well, Gunther, boy, if he loses to a guy who's got ring rust and was in a suit, and Gunther's in the prime of his career and he's active.
Exactly.
I see your point. I feel the exact opposite. Gunther cannot lose this match. We're expecting Gunther to be back at that world championship level, to be back at that caliber. I don't care how incredible all the accolades that Nick Aldis has. This man has been in a suit for years now. He cannot lose this match. I see your point. He is risking so much. He's risking his health. He cannot lose. Gunther cannot lose.
It's a fascinating conversation. We're going to get the result and obviously be analyzing this on the post show on the ESPN app as we're closing in to night one here at this magnificent US Bank Stadium. Much more to come here on our countdown to SummerSlam right here on ESPN. Of course, the great moments through the years, many of them Hell in a Cell. We'll go through the notable top 10 moments in Hell in a Cell history. And of course, it'll be Brock and Oba here in Minnesota. The Undertaker has so much history when it comes to Hell in a Cell, and he was speaking up on Brock and Oba.
What is my prediction for Brock and Oba? That's one of those super fight things, man. That's one of those fights like, man, I want to see what's going to happen here.
Inside this ring, when someone shows you weakness, you break them.
Outside the ring, the General gives you a break on your car insurance.
Didn't I tell you to stay in the locker room?
Hey, General, can anything help take the pain out of late payments?
Toughen up. Pain is how you learn.
Well, the General gives you flexible payment options to help keep you covered.
But in this ring, it's about pain, dominance, punishment.
Don't worry, Rhea. I'll take it from here. For a great low rate, go with the General.
What is my prediction for Brock and Oba? Man, that is a tough one. You know, I think selfishly, I want to see Oba take Brock out in Hell in a Cell. Me personally, I didn't have that great a record against Brock in Hell in a Cell, but man, that's one of those super fight things, man. That's one of those fights like, man, I want to see what's going to happen here. Oba has this incredible aura right now and all this momentum. He's new to the scene and he has all that energy behind him from the fans. I just hope that he doesn't get too distracted by the entrance and the walk and all that. All that's great. And, you know, he gets an incredible reaction. But again, to have long-term success, you've got to be able to deliver night in and night out in the ring. I think the table is set for him to be a huge superstar. It's just going to be a matter of channeling his and keeping his focus on the big prize.
Well, Taker will know as well as anybody would know, and we are a half an hour away from the start of SummerSlam, streaming on the ESPN app, and that is what's getting everybody's attention. What is hanging high there, 10,000 pounds of steel. It is Hell in a Cell, and the world's strongest man joins us now. Mark Henry, how are you, my man?
I'm awesome.
Always
Joe.
good to visit
Thank
with you.
you.
We'll stop talking about SEC football for a moment, the two of us, so that we can get into Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi. We saw them at WrestleMania. We saw them at Clash in Italy. This is far different, Mark, when you say Hell in a Cell.
Hell in a Cell is unforgiving. I've been in a couple of Hell in a Cell matches. I've won one and I've lost one. I was not the same afterwards. It took me a month to recover from it. So you got these big guys, they're running into a fixed steel wall. And there's no advantage for either guy. They're two big, strong guys throwing each other in the steel. So who can recover? And I think the young guy is the one that's got the better chance of recovery. And that's Oba Femi.
Mark, I got a question for you. So this stage of your career, I really love how much you've had an eye for scouting talent and bringing in some of the biggest new names. First time you saw Oba Femi, what were your thoughts?
I thought he was going to be a star. And I'm losing my voice, but I knew that with his explosive athletic career that it was going to translate into pro wrestling. I didn't think it was going to be this fast. I did not.
I'm going to piggyback off of Big E's question and ask you, what advice do you have for Oba Femi today, having seen glimpses of what Oba's capable of, already encountering Brock Lesnar on multiple occasions? This is arguably the biggest match of Oba's career. What advice does a Hall of Famer have?
Well, fortunately enough, Oba is under the Mark Henry learning tree. So he calls me and asks me for advice. And the advice that I give him is to not hold back, because what are you holding it back for? What are you saving it for? It's the fourth quarter. They get the Newt Rockney speech most of the time. But I asked him to be smart and not to question who he is. Be who you are. You don't flip and fly. You throw people.
Mark Henry, world's strongest man, with us as we think about some of the great moments in history when it comes to Hell in a Cell, Big E.
Look, so many incredible ones. I was blessed enough to be in a Hell in a Cell match. I did not win, but man, truly one of my favorite matches. We got to go back to Armageddon 2000 and look at the absolute bevy of stars. Future Hall of Famers, Rikishi, Stone Cold, Triple H, Kurt Angle, just absolutely loaded.
What always stands out to me inside of the Cell is the innovation. Every superstar who has succeeded inside of the Cell has to add a new wrinkle to their game plan. Come up with a new trick to utilize inside of the Cell. You see a side of superstars inside Hell in a Cell you don't see in traditional matches, and that's what makes these so exciting. Dare I say, can't miss.
This Hell in a Cell match, these two women really put on an absolute show. And to your point, what I love with Hell in a Cell is the creativity, and you see that when Bayley took on Bianca, so much creativity in the brutality.
Here we see the Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar, his first encounter inside of the Cell with the Dead Man. Mark, you know The Undertaker as well as anybody. You've competed against him throughout your career. How impossible is what Brock Lesnar did inside the Cell?
I never competed against The Undertaker in Hell in a Cell, but we had over 20 or 30 matches. Hell in a Cell would have really played more into me because of my strength and to be able to throw him into it. I feel like that Brock Lesnar beat The Undertaker and a lot of other guys in Hell in a Cell because he was the bigger, stronger guy. Is he the bigger, stronger guy?
Not tonight.
Not tonight.
Some of the great moments through the years of Hell in a Cell. Corey, going all the way back to 1997.
This is the one that put it on the map. HBK, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, and of course, the legendary emergence of the Big Red Machine, the first time we laid eyes on Kane.
And man, this match is one I can't forget. We heard about the pec tear. As soon as you see Cody take that jacket, I couldn't believe this man was able to compete for even 2 minutes, let alone this classic Hell in a Cell match. Also love the ode to Dusty Rhodes. In the end, Cody Rhodes gets it done.
CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, a rivalry that became so intensely personal, it could only be resolved one way. Inside of the Devil's Playground, neither of these superstars left anything in their tanks.
That was the grudge of the year, and it had to finish with Hell in a Cell, much like the rivalry we're going to see tonight, the third go-round.
Mark, as somebody who made your career as a powerhouse inside the ring, what sort of strategy would you employ in this day and age if you're Brock or if you're Oba?
I would not start slow. I want to start with my nukes, and then we'll go to all the lighter weapons later. Oba Femi is going to have to attack Brock like he's trying to win it in 5 seconds.
So we will find out tonight. It is Hell in a Cell, and it is hanging high above US Bank Stadium right now. Brock Lesnar, Oba Femi. We're 25 minutes away from night 1 of SummerSlam, streaming on the ESPN app. Of course, also tonight, the undisputed WWE Championship. Friendship is secondary. The top prize is on the line as Cody Rhodes tries to hold gold again. It's in the hands right now of CM Punk.
2007, your father calls me on the telephone and he tells me, I want you to keep an eye on my kid. Friend to friend, brother to brother, I'm proud of you.
Thank you for everything that you have taught me.
I love you. When you're a champion in WWE, you got a target on your back. There are no friends.
You're my friend, right?
I didn't want this title to come in between us, but you seem to not care about that. I don't want to hear any of this bullshit. That was an accident. This is on purpose. You dropped a pipe bomb on the industry. I dropped a nuke. I went from the one who knocks to the one they knock for. I'm not chasing you. You're chasing me. You can't handle the pressure of trying to take this precious title off of somebody you care about.
People have heard I respect you. People have heard I love you even. But I don't think you've ever heard
I don't like you. I gotta know who the better wrestler is for business purposes.
this isn't business. This is personal.
Nobody can touch me. Not even Dusty's kid. And because I'm your one true friend, I'm gonna stab you in the front. see the look on your face when you find out that the best in the world isn't the best in the world anymore.
Joe Tessitore and the Countdown crew with you here as we continue on with the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, discussing CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. Interesting past couple weeks between these recent, very good friends now at each other's throats. How do you see this match?
I see Punk being the guy that he's always been. He's an attack artist. You don't have to tell him to get it started. He gets the party started. And this is not about being friends. This is not about it being enemy. It's about being champion. I put all that aside when it's time to win the title.
That is coming your way tonight, E.
Look, I think we're going to see a great wrestling match as well. Brock Oba, I think is going to look very different from this match. I think we're going to see two guys who really bust out their entire arsenal. I think we'll see chain wrestling. I think we'll see guys really demonstrate their commitment to their craft tonight.
I completely agree with you. I think it could be a technical masterpiece, as we like to wax poetic about, but I think it all boils down to which of these two superstars is willing to go the extra mile. Who's willing to bend a rule? Who's willing to break a rule clean in half?
Break the rule.
You need to. This is about being the top guy in the industry, the undisputed WWE champion. Who wants it more? That's what it's going to boil down to.
Mark, we've talked about Hell in a Cell. We've talked about Punk and Rhodes. What else is getting your attention tonight?
Well, the number one thing that I feel like a lot of people need to know, starting this show, is going to be EO.
I like how you break news. There you go. It is official. We want to share that with you, that in just moments on the ESPN app, it'll be the Women's World Championship, Liv Morgan and EO Sky. What's your takeaway?
I think super talented, both women. But EO deserves it. And I think she knows she deserves it. And she's willing to go out there and prove it. She's done it on the big stage before. I see nothing different tonight.
Thank for your time, Mark Henry. Always
Thank
good to
y'all
visit
for having
with you.
me,
We will see
guys.
if the Queen of the Ring can conquer the championship. Don't go anywhere. We are closing in. We're under 20 minutes to go. Hell in a Cell hangs high for now. It'll include Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi. And Mark Henry just broke the news, and there she is. EO Sky leaving the locker room, getting set to come out to US Bank Stadium here in Minnesota. SummerSlam, Night 1, Women's World Championship on the line.
Make the bed shake with meds that prime your brain for arousal, boost blood flow where it counts, and help you last longer in bed. Rougiette's ED meds are personalized to you and delivered right to your door. Your best sex starts now. Get started today at Rougiette.com.
It'll be the third time for Brock Lesnar and Obafemi. Obafemi, who said this past month that Brock used to run this place, and now he just runs away. But in Hell in a Cell, there is nowhere to run. Look at that structure. It's coming your way on the ESPN app.
Deception, fury, hope, rage, power, vengeance. At the Titan's second clash, the great beast rose once more. A storm of 7 F5s brought the destroyer to his knees. And the conqueror reclaimed his mantle. In defeat, the bringer of war sought a new goal.
The ruler will have his crown.
A pursuit not of might,
Where's the beast? You coward! Attack him from behind!
but of mind.
The only thing that I've seen is a big bad bitch!
Seeking to claim the crown.
Your 2026 King of the Ring!
Talk, get hit.
Don't forget, it is 1-1. Me and you, Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar. Hell in a Cell.
As the Titans of old were once cast down, these monstrosities drag each other to the underworld.
Brock Lesnar has never been defeated inside Hell in a Cell. At SummerSlam, this all ends.
Turning the biggest event of the summer into the hour of judgment.
No more games, no more running. You can't run from the ruler.
Locked together until there is one victor.
You can't run from the bringer of war. I'll see you at SummerSlam, bitch. You can't run from Obafemi.
It is their final descent into the Inferno.
Well, after winning King of the Ring, Obafemi could have went straight for championship gold. Instead, he chose Brock Lesnar. It is a fascinating decision because Oba didn't have to take this match right now. He chose to. Obafemi is moving in a way where it feels like he believes that title opportunities for him aren't going anywhere. That choice alone tells us that Obafemi isn't just chasing championships in WWE, he's chasing significance. So while titles might build a resume, it's moments like tonight that build legacy. And the opportunity to take on the likes of Brock Lesnar inside Hell in a Cell, no less, that's once in a lifetime. And Byron, I think Obafemi knows it.
I'm sure he does know it, Jackie, but what Obafemi also knows is that this is what Brock Lesnar wanted. Look, you and I both know, having covered Brock, when it comes to fight day, you don't see Brock. You don't hear from his camp. The only time you see him is when he marches down to that ring. And tonight, when he marches down to that ring, he could be walking into a fairly comfortable situation. Remember, Hell in a Cell is a match that Brock wanted. Hell in a Cell is a match that Brock Lesnar has not lost. And as far as this crowd, Brock Lesnar could experience a rather pro-Lesnar crowd here tonight, which could impact and provide a significant obstacle for Obafemi inside Hell in a Cell. Back to you guys on the panel.
This has to do with the origin story of Brock Lesnar. Of course, his championship started nearby at the University of Minnesota as a heavyweight NCAA champion before he goes on to WWE, the UFC, and now this in the late autumn of his career. back here in Minnesota in front of this massive crowd at US Bank Stadium. Guys, I want to get back to something that Jackie brought up, and that's that Obafemi chose this. Obafemi won King of the Ring, which means in the WWE, you can choose a championship match. He said, no, I want to go again with Brock Lesnar.
I'm so glad we mentioned that because I think sometimes you get a small window. You get one opportunity to be a world champion here in WWE. I don't think Obafemi will be that guy. This is not to take a shot at him at all, but I think of someone like Braun Breaker, who I thought by now would be a world champion. He's going to have to take some time to get back to that spot. I think Obafemi knows he has the talent and the ability that world championship opportunity is not going anywhere, but I pray that he hasn't missed his window.
I don't disagree with anything you just said, Biggie, but I will say this. The fact that Obafemi chose Brock Lesnar says to me that Oba is obsessed with Brock Lesnar, and that's exactly what Brock Lesnar wants. Brock's a veteran of this business. He's undefeated inside Hell in a Cell. Who did he defeat those times inside the cell? The Undertaker.
Wow.
This is Brock Lesnar, the most decorated combat sports athlete in history. No doubt about it, this is the biggest test of Obafemi's young career. I say, at the end of the day, we, the WWE fans, are the winners. And to borrow a quote from the great Prince, let's go crazy.
Yeah,
let's get nuts.
We're about to go crazy here at US Bank Stadium, and we just shared the news with you moments ago. The first match, we are just moments away. Women's World Championship match, Liv Morgan, Io Sky. That will open up SummerSlam Night 1.
Sweet little Io. I can tell you still don't understand just exactly who you're facing at SummerSlam. I am the Liv Morgan. I'm the girl that everyone underestimated and overlooked as I scratched and clawed my way to the top. So please believe me when I say I will do anything to stay there. Sure, some people might think that I'm an arrogant champion, but when you have the resume that I have, you just don't care about what people think. But you know what I do care about? My championship. Which means now I care about you. Because you did beat me at Queen of the Ring. I know you're one of the best in the world. You are the genius of the Sky, Io Sky. But you're wrong about me. You're not in my head. I'm not scared at the thought of losing to you at SummerSlam, and I am so much stronger than you think that I am. So thank you, Io, for the opportunity at SummerSlam to remind you and everyone else exactly who I am. The greatest women's world champion of all time.
That Women's World Championship match kicking off the show, and we have to talk about the criticism that Liv Morgan has been receiving online recently, saying that the only defending she's been doing is of her critics, saying that she hasn't defended her championship in over 100 days. But I spoke to Liv Morgan earlier, and she said she doesn't care what anyone thinks. She is the greatest women's champion of all time, and she's going to win again tonight over Io Sky, and then she plans to not defend her championship for another 100 days. I thought that was kind of crazy, but here we are. Looking forward to that match, and we have Peter talking about Io Sky.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, I get where Liv's coming from. You don't win extra points for defending it over and over again. She just wants to hang on to that title that Io Sky wants so badly. I saw Io walking around earlier, and I go up to her. I said, hey, you beat Liv Morgan in the Queen of the Ring final, and then you chose Liv Morgan. That says to me you must be very, very confident. And she said, I am 100% confident one-on-one against Liv Morgan. However, that doesn't include the Judgment Day. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Back to you guys.
We will, Peter. I want to remind everybody, in 1 minute, you want to go over to the ESPN app to watch the entirety of SummerSlam. The matches will be on the ESPN app. Great news for YouTube subscribers now. You can get the ESPN Unlimited plan and watch SummerSlam, so immediately do that as soon as we wrap. Final thought on what we're about to see.
CM Punk, look, let's enjoy this man while we still have him. I think he's going to put on an absolute classic with Cody.
I think we're going to be talking about Hell in a Cell for a long, long time.
Yep, US Bank Stadium. It is where a Super Bowl has been. It is where a Final Four has been. And tonight, it is where Hell in the Cell will emanate from. Brock Lesnar, Oba Femi. Of course, you look around this magnificent stadium and you see purple everywhere you look. And tonight, this stadium belongs to the WWE Universe. And that color of royalty, it will be home to where they will crown new WWE stars who sit on the throne for years to come. Championships on the line. Our ring announcer for the night is Alicia Taylor. What do you say we have the biggest party of the summer? SummerSlam begins now on the ESPN app. We'll see you there.
Ladies and gentlemen, here to sing God Bless America, please welcome Vaughn Evelyn.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, wide with love. God bless America, my home, sweet home. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, wide with love. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet
There is one thing that you have not been able to do. Beat me.
I don't want to beat you. I need to beat you.
A 14-year rivalry. It all culminates at SummerSlam.